America, right? But what is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe have a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians the Chinese, everybody speak their language outside English. What do you speak? What is the trace of your culture you're talking about? What is American culture? I want to know, what is the Black American culture? I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, baby single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pim culture? The gang banging culture? Is that the culture? Bro, the Black American culture is about wearing, let's say, wearing the Nikes, wearing they want to be on the trend game, you know? These are the culture. But I don't know why the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of Black people around the world, or they should be the face of Black people around the world. Why? Bro, you can have your face. See, you don't even have to declare yourself that you are not African, you are not African American. Bro, nobody give a flying damn about what you think about yourself. That's your own opinion and your own mentality, your own narrative of everything, how you are. That nobody cares. But bringing all your fights about Africa, bro, I don't get it. You talk about culture every time. What is the culture? I want to know. Genuinely, I'm asking. The hip hop. You want to say the hip hop? The music is your culture. I don't get it. Eminem is not Black, but he do more hip hop probably than the Black Americans. I don't get the culture you're talking about. Maybe because you guys dominate the basketball, the sports game in America. You guys dominate. Is that the culture? Sport is not culture, bro. Let me educate you. You don't have any language you speak outside English. You don't have a tribe. Culture has traces. You don't have any culture, but you always say culture. Bro, you don't have culture. Your culture is about dressing, looking nice, and wearing Nikes. They will tell you that they have the Nike. Bro, Nike is owned by a white man. I want to educate you on that too. The Nike is owned by a white man. They will tell you, hey, Michael Jordan.
How we should control the fast when we the one who bought it.
Black Americans, come here. This is a message for y'all, especially my Black American women. Come here, listen. I think it's time for us to show how strong and how powerful the Black American dollar is, since they don't believe us. I think it's time to boycott the braiding shops. That's what I think it's time to do. It's time to boycott the braiding shops. Stop going. We know how to braid. Let's braid our own hair. Support our own small businesses. Stop going to the braid shops. Teach them how to have some fucking respect, because they have none. Black American power, Black American dollar. They need us. We don't need them. Remember that. Do I wish there could be unity in a community? Absolutely. But that ain't gonna happen until they give us our fucking respect. And they've never done it. So, fuck all that. Boycott time. No more African braid shops. It's time to boycott the African braid shops. Stop going. Let's show them how powerful our Black American dollar is, since they think we can't control this fucking narrative. Since they think we got everything, let's show them how much we really fucking got. Black American power. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Like, follow, share, comment below.
Happy Saturday, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, coming live on this Saturday, August 2nd, straight from Tallahassee, Florida, bringing you this information that we bring you on a regular basis from this channel. I got on my army green today because, we're talking about these diaspora wars. I'm getting into these diaspora wars again because, for one, let me just lay it out and say, I think at the end of the day, it's foolish. At the end of the day, it's unproductive. And at the end of the day, I believe that white folk have their hand in the pot stirring this stuff, coaxing these diaspora wars that we're having against each other. It's a continued strife between either Black Americans and Africans, or Black Americans and Caribbeans, or, Black Americans and Black Brits. It's it's a lot going on. And the irony of the diaspora wars, is while they're going on, each of the groups that are fighting against each other also have infighting within their own group. That's a crazy thing about that, right? Each group have their own infighting, and there's ample amount of evidence that we can show that all of these groups of Black people around the globe, while fighting with each other, simultaneously fighting with themselves, right? So that's crazy, man. So that's what we're getting into today. So I'm actually going to go back to the beginning of this video, because we're going to break down what the gentleman was saying at the beginning and then get into the braiding shop things, but really digging into this these diaspora wars. But the main piece of content that I want to get to today, that I am going to get to, is an interview with the esteemed historian Robin Walker. He was on the Drazzy Show. The Drazzy Show is a podcast, a Black Brit podcast, and they're talking about the diaspora wars, and that's it's the main piece of content that we're gonna get into today. But we definitely got to get into these diaspora wars and kind of break down the disrespect, how it started, where it is now, because there's disrespect on both sides. But I think we have enough information to really understand some of the root of it and the instigators of it, some of the main instigators of it. So let's just go ahead and talk about it, right? Because there are a handful of Africans, a handful of Caribbeans, a handful of Black Brits who are like the loud minorities of these groups, who are the main contributors to the strife in the diaspora war, some of the main ones who are pouring the gas on it. Then we have Black Americans who are coming back, who are angry at what is happening and are pouring more gas on it. And the gas that they're pouring on it is not helping, right? Because, a lot of these diaspora wars started with Black Americans noticing how, especially Africans, some of the Africans, not all of them, because they don't represent all of the Africans, right? But some of them came over and totally were disrespecting Black Americans, benefiting from Black American culture, but talking down on Black Americans, right? I know in my life, what I've experienced, some Africans basically acting like we don't exist. It's the white proximity thing, right? They come over and they've been told not to mess with us. Don't mess with them Black Americans, because we gang bangers, we baby mamas, we drug dealers, we all the horrible things that they've seen on TV, right? They're all the horrible things that they've been fed, right? And so they've been told that, so they come over here and they don't mess with us. Now, simultaneously, Black Americans, we have been fed all negative images of Africans our whole lives. The feed the children, you see the old videos with the skinny African kids with the pot bellies, and we saw all negative images of Africans. So on both sides, we've been fed negativity about each other, and we've been able to buy into it enough for both populations have been able to buy into it to bring us to where we are now, to where we are at war against each other. So this idea of Pan-Africanism is still in the idea stage. The way we're going about this diaspora wars, the way these diaspora wars are the way they keep manifesting themselves, you can kiss Pan-Africanism goodbye. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if Black people around the globe are fighting against each other, right? So that's what we're getting into today. These diaspora wars, breaking down what people are saying, why they're saying, getting into this information. And the main piece of content, though, like I said, the main piece of content we're going to get to is the esteemed historian Robin Walker having a conversation, schooling a young man on why Black Americans, why FBA, why ADOS, why the delineation is happening. So I will say this. I'm not against the delineation. I'm not against the delineation at all. I am sad that it's happening, but I'm not against it. And I do understand why it's happening, especially from a legal standpoint. But at the end of the day, Black people around the globe, no matter what, we need each other. And the historic tribalism that African people, Black people have always harbored is still manifesting itself, and it's still being played upon. Go read the literature. Go read the text. Remember, we already read Destruction of Black Civilization. We just got through reading Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. Think about all of the content that we read from our own scholars and our own historians who talked about the tribalism that African people harbor, and that is constantly played upon by the Europeans. And we're constantly fighting each other. We've been fighting each other for over 6,000 years. This is nothing new, just manifesting itself in this modern form. But why the hell are we still at the point where we're still fighting each other? Now, we're still fighting each other because gas keeps still getting poured on the dang on fire. And we keep falling for the bull. So that's what we're going to get into today, right? Maboma says for so-called African Americans, their culture is their culture is Pan-Africanism, ID, intermix, jazz, Kwanzaa, Mayo, soul food, Afrocentric, Ibanez, Kiswahili. The idea should be housed under an African banner. I mean, to say that African American culture should be housed under an African banner would be spitting on all the work that the Black Americans have done, all of what we have created. Right now, that does not eliminate the African elements that exist within Black American culture. Remember, recognizing that we are Black Americans does not eliminate our connection to Africa. We understand that that Black people in America wouldn't be here if Africans wouldn't brought over here and culture was brought over here. We look at the Gullah Geechee culture, right? We celebrate the Gullah Geechee culture with its rich African influences. That's celebrated all the time. We understand the connection to Africa, but it's still a Black American culture, and it still will go under a Black American banner with the influences of Africa, right? And you say, I should also add that African American can weigh in on Ubuntu among with many issues of Africanity. African Americans are the ultimate Wakanda. I mean, and we get that. African Americans get that. But what I think one of the issues is when these diaspora wars is nobody's listening to each other. And everybody's trying to tell everybody what they should be doing. And no disrespect, but one of the things that you are doing is one of the things that a lot of Black Americans are frustrated about is you're telling us how we should operate as a culture of people. And then you have others who are telling us that we don't have a culture. But then within the culture that we do express, they're telling us how we should operate within our culture. Now, overall, Black America is an important piece of the diaspora. Black America is an important piece of Pan-Africanism coming to fruition. We are. I believe as an individual, I believe that Black people around the globe, we need each other and we have to work together. So I do agree that we do need to come together under a banner, under a code of a global African people and be able to work together. But we have to get past the disrespect. It has to be addressed. And we have to be able to move past the disrespect. But if the disrespect keeps happening and if people keep telling us how we should operate as Black Americans, we won't be able to get to a space to where we can sit down and listen to each other because everybody keep wagging their finger and talking at us and nobody's talking to us and with us and nobody's listening to us. And I think that's one of the issues that comes with these diaspora wars. One more thing you're saying. You're a graduate of FAMU, Mr. Ward. It is not true that the first president was from Sierra Leone. Once again, African influences, not African roots, but African influences, because the HBCU itself was not built upon African principles, and the HBCU was not built upon even African culture. That's not why the HBCU was built. Once again, African influences are within the HBCU. It's a difference. I can see if FAMU was built on African principles. I can see if FAMU was built on its influence of African culture. I can understand that. I can get what you would be saying, but that's not why or how FAMU was built. Having a president who is from Sierra Leone means African influences, but it doesn't mean that FAMU was built off of African principles and African culture. It's a difference. Peace, my brother. Appreciate the continued revigoration to know thyself. I appreciate you, Mr. J. Williams. I appreciate you for tuning in. What's the difference between African and Black American? You mean continental? You mean Black? You mean people from the continent of Africa and people from the continent of North America or the United States of America? Like, culture, it's a lot of cultural differences. It's a lot of cultural differences between that. Like, that's like asking, what's the difference between a Nigerian and a South African? Because there is a difference. And they do recognize the difference. That's why they're having strife in South Africa right now, right? Because we're not saying we're not a part of the diaspora, but what we are saying is we are Black Americans. Because think about it, nobody says to a Jamaican or a Haitian that they are not Jamaican or Haitian. Nobody's questioning their Jamaicanness. Nobody's questioning their Haitianness. Nobody's questioning anybody in the Caribbean at all. And we have the same origin stories. They speak the language they speak because of colonization. They have the cultures they have because of colonization. They were not the original populations in the Caribbean. One of the main differences is when they were enslaved, the groups wasn't broken up in the Caribbean as much as they were broken up in America. So they were able to retain a lot of the African cultural influences that they had. We don't have that in Black America. So culturally, we're not the same. Do we have the blood in our bodies? Yes, nobody's denying our blood, but we're not culturally the same. But that does not mean we are not a part of the diaspora. But I think it's unfair to pile on Black Americans, for one, to tell us we don't have a culture, and to try to tell us that we don't know where we come from because our story is different. That's not great. That's not even fair. I asked it on purpose. I don't think it's really a difference. Well, good. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Then I appreciate it. I appreciate that. There's strife between South Africans versus Nigerians because of Boers putting a battery. And once again, white people are at the center of all of this. Even these diaspora wars, we already know white people are at the root of this. We know that because they're the ones who taught both them and us the negativity about each other. If someone is a Black person, the Black person is African. The group in the U.S. should define themselves as African. The group needs a Bantu linguistic name to define a community. I mean, once again, you're telling us what we should do based off of how you see the world, based off of your experiences. And what I'm trying to communicate to you is we're getting nowhere with you doing that. You're telling us how we should identify. You're telling us who we should be. And that's not how it goes, because go tell that. You're not telling the Haitians the same thing. You're not telling the Jamaicans the same thing. You're not telling the Afro-Puerto Ricans, the Afro-Cubans, the Dominicans. You're not telling them the same thing, right? You're not telling them the same thing. We're going to continue to lose if we don't see the collective, cohesive nature that we need to fight against our enemies. It happened on the continent as well as the islands. Don't repeat I'm just saying, at the end of the day, that's why I think these diaspora wars are stupid. They are stupid, but people do have legitimate gripes within these diaspora wars. But we need to find a way to eliminate the gripes, to heal the hurt, so we can move forward. But that's why I'm going over the content that I'm going to get these comments, then we're going to get into it. No language, but everyone bites. Hey, man, we're going to get into it. We're going to get back into that. We're going to break that down, man. Missteps, destruction of Black civilization, numerous stories. Yes, yes, yes. J.A. Rogers, one of my favorite authors. All right, man, let's get back into this content. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Hit that like button, please, when you come up in here. I appreciate everybody up in here. Drop these comments. Let's have these conversations. But let's have civil conversation. Let's not come in here arguing. Let's not do the back and forth arguing, going at each other, but let's have civil, sound conversations. But let's get into it. I want to break down what this brother was saying so we can get through this part, so we can get to Robin Walker, excuse me. So let's do it.
Of America, right? But what is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe have a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians in the Chinese, everybody speak their language.
Let's stop there. So according to him, according to what he just said, not only do Black Americans not have culture, but no Caribbeans have culture, and no Black people in North, Central, or South America or the Caribbeans have culture, because none of us are all speaking our original people's language. The fact that he believes that Spanish, the fact that he believes that Spanish is the native language of the Mexicans. We don't need to talk no more to him. He don't need to say nothing more, nothing less. He don't understand what he's saying, because according to him, Mexicans don't have culture because they don't have a language, because Spanish is not their native language. Jamaicans don't have culture because they don't have language, because the patois is not their native language. The African people didn't come to Jamaica speaking patois. The African people didn't come to Haiti speaking the Haitian Creole. According to him, no Black people in North, Central, South America or the Caribbean have culture, because none of us are speaking native tongues of the people when we first got here, according to him, while he's wearing American clothing. Just notice that too.
Outside English, what do you speak? What is a trace of your culture you're talking about? What is American culture? I want to know, what is the Black American culture? I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture, baby single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pim culture, the gang banging culture? Is that the culture?
See, I could be real petty right now. I could be real petty and just bring up all the turmoil and all the strife that's going on, especially in these West African countries, but African countries throughout the diaspora. Throughout the continent. I could be petty and just go through all of that stuff, but I'm not here to go back and forth and to start stuff. I'm here to help build these bridges back, right? But he's talking about, well, what is Black American culture? So our culture, it's the way it inspires the way we walk. That is emulated. It inspires the way we talk. That is emulated. It inspires the way we think. That is emulated. It inspires the way we write. That is emulated. It inspires the art we create. That is emulated. It inspires the way we raise our children. That is emulated. It inspires the way we build. It inspires the way we decorate. Remember, I said culture is like an immune system. It is what protects the people, right? The continued narrative of Black Americans not having culture is a tired narrative. our culture doesn't need to look like any other culture of the diaspora, because if you actually look at the diaspora, it is comprised of many, 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 many different cultures and varied cultural expressions. And for Black American culture to continue to be under the spotlight, for one, and to continue to be denigrated while at the same time mimicked is funny. It's funny, right? Because you can take 10 people from 10 different places around the world, place them all in one space, and just put them there together. And just leave them there. And over time, those 10 people will create culture amongst themselves. That's what human beings naturally do, is create culture. Despite us not having our native language, even though we do have a language called Tutnese, and we do have the Gullah Geechee, variants of language that we have, that, because if the Patois and the Haitian Creole is looked at as a language, then the Tutnese as well as the Gullah Geechee languages, but it's just funny. But once, like I said, I'm not here to throw shots back and forth, but I am here to break down and put some perspective to what's going on, because we have to, first of all, I think us as Black Americans, we can't be emotional about this. We can't be in our emotions. We have to be able to separate who's who. We can't demonize the whole continent of Africa, and we can't demonize the diaspora. We can't demonize everybody in the Caribbean and everybody in South and Central America. We can't demonize them because the actions of a few. So we have to be able to look at the actions of a few and separate them from the rest and be able to build with who we can build with, because the goal is to still build this Pan-African thing. This diaspora still needs to exist, but being able to separate those who carry the torch of white supremacy and be able to move forward. Get to some of these comments real quick. Says, let me do this so I can see. Could I levy a counterpoint to the identity issue? I would say, just as I think a Black person in England shouldn't call themselves British, or a Black person in Latin America, Latino, Black America should reject African identity. I think I get you, but I think we're gonna agree to disagree, because the way that's like, would you tell a Jamaican that they are not Jamaican? That's my thing. That's one of my questions, though. Would you tell a Jamaican to reject their Jamaican identity? Would you tell a Haitian to reject their Haitian identity? Because what's so different from their origin stories than our origin stories? But I don't see those people being told to not call themselves by the land that they're from. This is our ancestral land. It is. Whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, whether anybody likes it or not, it is our ancestral land. But I'm not understanding why Black Americans are being told to not call ourselves Black Americans, but nobody's telling Jamaicans not to call themselves Jamaicans, or nobody's telling Haitians not to call themselves Haitians. Nobody's telling Dominicans not to call themselves Dominicans. So help me understand why we can't call ourselves Black Americans, but they can call themselves Jamaicans. What's the difference? When we look at it, we all have a collective enemy, which is the imperialist white European. Yes, we have that, but somehow that European keep getting us to fight against each other. If the diaspora wars are stupid, which they are, then the logical conclusion of this is that these fights are inter-African. So there are a continental and diaspora Africans, both are African, period. They are of people of the African diaspora. I don't know how many ways to say this. Nobody's denying that we're not a part of the African diaspora. Calling ourselves Black Americans does not deny our connection to Africa or our being a part of the African diaspora. I'm just not getting it. To me, if anyone studies historical linguistics, more African languages are related. So the diaspora is entitled to African languages. It should be understood that Creoles are connected too. But nobody's telling them that they have no culture. Because we have, I'm just saying, man, I'm just saying. Lots of the different new people within the diaspora are mutants of the invaders from their language into certain cultural expressions. Many of us have experienced a forced assimilation of it. Right. Customs are the captors of sociocultural behaviors. Mr. Ward, you have read the following books: Bantu Speaking Heritage, U.S. Pan-African. No, and I will read, but that okay. The cultural expressions to me will also depend on what colonial social policy each group was experiencing, like the colonial policy in Brazil. Right, but what about the colonial policies in Africa that did impact their cultures, but nobody's telling them that their cultures are not African cultures, but they had colonial influences. Nigeria was named after Europeans. Like, come on now. Let's not act like there are no Africans on this planet who don't have the influences of colonialism. There are no Africans on the planet who don't have that, but nobody's wagging their finger at other Africans, and that's the point. Basically, these various generations from east to west have been behaving through the lens. Yes, yep. We all have. We all are guilty of this statement. We all are. Jay, you on point. We all are. Here's my comment. It depends on the basis to which the state of Jamaica operates. Jamaica is the state. Haiti is the state. It went through. I don't see anyone having so much smoke for anyone. I'm just that's all I'm saying. Going back to this point, like it's not a good, no disrespect, but it's not a good point, right? Because you're basically saying, well, the Jamaicans and the Haitians get to call themselves Jamaicans and Haitians because they had a revolution. You know so Black people in America didn't fight back. So we didn't fight for no kind of freedom. It was no type of resistance, no type of fighting back of any Black Americans anywhere in the continent. We didn't do nothing. Like, come on, stop it. Stop it. American is inherently a settler. So is Haiti and Jamaica. So is Cuba. The whole Caribbean. Stop acting like we don't know the history of the Caribbean. It's no different from us. They just got colonized by the Spanish and the Portuguese. We got colonized by the English. The Spanish and the Portuguese showed up first. It's no difference. I get where you're coming, because in reality it ain't, but online it is, and it's enough strife to have us fighting against each other, and it's enough strife to have us looking at each other crazy. But let me get back into the video. All right.
Bro, the Black American culture is about wearing, let's say, wearing the Nikes, wearing they want to be on the trend game. You know, these are the culture. But I don't know why the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of Black people around the world, or they should be the face of Black people around the world. Why? Bro, you can have your face. See, you don't even have to declare yourself that you are not African, you are not African American. Bro, nobody give a flying damn about what you think about yourself. That's your own opinion and your own mentality, your own narrative of everything.
See, that's projection right there. That's projection. So me and Pat were having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about these diaspora wars, and one of the conclusions that we come up to is, well, of course, not all, but a lot of people who push the diaspora wars are pushing them because they want the closest proximity to whiteness. And I believe that's what we came up with. That's some of the root of these diaspora wars is fighting for proximity to whiteness. Black America, despite our history, despite what we went through, we still have been able to build something significant as a group of people to stand on and to shine on. And we are some of the leaders of the Black world, right? I'm not going to say we are the leaders of the Black world, because I don't believe we are the leaders of the Black world, but we are in a prominent spot as far as a group of people within the African diaspora. And the spotlight is on us. And the spotlight is on us because of, in my opinion, what we have been able to achieve despite what happened to us, despite our history, despite slavery, despite Jim Crow, despite all these different things. The spotlight is on us, and we're in the land of opportunity. And everybody wants opportunity. I remember the video of the young lady saying that, and she was speaking, and this is her specific words for her, but she was saying Africans come and they look to get next to the winners, which are the white people. So it's about, the white proximity, having that seat next to white folk. So that's one of the factors I believe that go into this diaspora.
How you are, that nobody cares. But bringing all your fights about Africa, bro, I don't get it. You talk about culture every time. What is the culture? I want to know. Genuinely, I'm asking. The hip hop. You want to say the hip hop? The music is your culture. I don't get it. Eminem is not black, but he do more hip hop probably than the Black Americans. I don't get the culture you're talking about. Maybe because you guys dominate the basketball, the sports game in America. You guys dominate. Is that the culture? Sport is not culture, bro. Let me educate you. You don't have any language you speak outside English. You don't have a tribe. Culture has traces. You don't have any culture. But you always say culture. Bro, you don't have culture. Your culture is about dressing, looking nice, and wearing Nikes. They will tell you that they have the Nike. Bro, Nike.
See, ignorance. Emotions and ignorance. That's what this video, that's what he's speaking on. Emotions and ignorance. Adding fuel to the fire, because he's not making he don't have his facts together, and he's not making any points. Right? So I'm just saying. Jamaica and Haiti, for example. Hold on, let me make sure I can see it. Jamaica and Haiti represent indigenous origins. A country like Ghana represents a country like Cameroon. So there are no indigenous origins for America? Like the United States of America, there are no indigenous origins? But you do understand that the Jamaicans who are there and the Haitians who are there are not the original people. They're not the Arawaks. They're not the Taino. The Taino were the original inhabitants of the Caribbean islands. The Taino were. Not the current population of people. But the United States also had indigenous people here too. And some of those indigenous people were actually Black people. We're not going to say all, but some were actually Black people. There are indigenous origins for the United States. I'm not saying because those indigenous people were here that I'm indigenous. I'm not saying that, but indigenous origins go to those as well. But I'm just, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't even remember where I was in the comments, but I see somebody said, do I have a link to call in? No, I don't. This is not a call-in show at this point. So, but let me see. Says 2 million Black American millionaires. Many of these states in Africa went through an independence process, and their names may represent them winning against colonial. Hey man, whatever. We're gonna agree to disagree, my brother. Yes. Here we go, Dark Kent. Here we go again. Yes, he's lying. Yes, he don't know what he's talking about. But remember, not just Black Americans. What he's saying would go for the Americans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Caribbeans, Central and South Americans. None of us have culture, not just Black Americans, according to his definition, not just Black Americans, but we do have a culture. To say we don't have a culture is crazy. To say we don't have a culture is crazy. Wow. And it's just wild though. It's inconceivable that we talk about unity and then throw dirt on each other. Come on, man. All right. Yeah, at all. Trigger, see, like I said in the beginning, trigger happy is what you're doing is one of the reasons why the fuel on the fire is what it is, because for one, you're refusing to listen because you are right. And there's no way that Black Americans could know anything about who we are and where we're from. That's one of the reasons why we are where we are. But let me get to this because she didn't help either. So remember, I'm talking about fuel on the fire from both sides because the diaspora wars are dumb as hell. And any Black person from anywhere around the world who are contributing to it is dumb as hell.
Man, they will tell you, hey, Michael Jordan,
How we should control the fast when we the one who bought it.
Black Americans, come here. Come here. This is a message for y'all, especially my Black American women. Come.
Well, I disagree. Black American marriages worked before 1965 when we didn't have languages. Black American marriages before welfare, feminism, and the sexual revolution worked in America, and we didn't have our own language. You got to think about that. For 80% marriage rates before 1965 when we didn't have our own language. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Come here. Listen. I think it's time for us to show how strong and how powerful the Black American dollar is, since they don't believe us. I think it's time to boycott the braiding shops. That's what I think it's time to do. It's time to boycott the braiding shops. Stop going. We know how to braid. Let's braid our own hair. Support our own small businesses. Stop going to the braid shops. Teach them how to have some fucking respect, because they have none. Black American power. Black American dollar. They need us. We don't need them. Remember that. Do I wish there could be unity in a community? Absolutely. But that ain't gonna happen until they give us our fucking respect. And they've never done it. So, fuck all that. Boycott time. No more African braid shops. It's time to boycott the African braid shops. Stop going. Let's show them how powerful our Black American dollar is, since they think we can't control this fucking narrative. Since they think we got everything, well, let's show them how much we really fucking got. Black American power. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Like, follow, share, comment below.
So we couldn't find a better way to express our disdain with Black American or African braid shops, because that's my thing. I believe it could have been a better way for the Black American women and the African women to get together and discuss their problems rather than to taking it to TikTok. And once you're taking it to TikTok, now you kicking up dust, right? And I'm just saying, there's a better way for us to handle our strife amongst each other, and taking it to social media is nothing but pouring more fuel on the fire. You got more people. Now you got more people ready to fight. You got more ignorant people on both sides ready to get ignorant. And these diaspora wars are going to keep going and going. The white man sitting back laughing. Look at these foolish Black folk sitting up here fighting about every little thing. Every little thing we keep fighting about. So at what point do we actually sit down and listen to what's going on? Now, that lady making that video led to this lady making this video. And so the thing was to boycott African braid shops and boycott African businesses on August 1st, right? That was the whole thing. So it led to this lady giving this response.
If only this reached the consensus of all African and Caribbeans, everybody from Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, and Africa, if this meet your consent, since the Black American want to go to war, let's try, let's see. All of us that call out one day from work, all of us across the United States, all immigrants call out from work. Yes. If they want to go to war, let's see what they can prove. And also, all immigrants, like your businesses from all Black Americans, simple as that. Don't let them go into your grocery store. Don't let them go into your restaurant. Don't let them go into your salon. You want to go to war? We will. And also, we can ask all our African doctors, yeah, boycott all Black American treatment. Like I said, you don't want to go to war with African. Trust me. We are 50.
Trust me, Shabazz. I'm not giving them a pass. They're not getting the pass over here. If you out of pocket, you got to get the business. But that's what I'm saying. Calling them out and separating ourselves from the disrespectful ones, right? Because you don't get a pass. You don't get to come over here. And one of the main reasons why you're over here is because of the work that our ancestors put in, the work that we continue to put in. You don't get to come over here and spit on us and then wag your finger at us and then tell us how we're supposed to live. You're not going to come over here and tell us that we don't have culture. You're not going to come over here and tell us how we're supposed to exist as a group of people, especially when your homelands are in turmoil. And that's the thing that we keep and we're not saying that as throwing shots, but we're being realistic and speaking facts. And this is for the disrespectful ones, right? The disrespectful ones getting this. Your homeland is in turmoil, but yet you come over here and try to tell us how we're supposed to exist. Your homeland is ran by African people who choose to coexist with white supremacists. Your own people choose to coexist with white supremacists. That's why a lot of these African places are in turmoil, because of the hands of the West. The West still own a lot of it. They have their hands in a lot of the stuff that's going on in these countries, and these countries are in a whole lot of turmoil. But then they come over here to us. We're behind enemy lines. And look what we've been able to create for ourselves. We're not saying we have the greatest situation in the world, but our situation is good enough for you all to come over here and want to be a part of our situation. So, Shabazz, trust me, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you 100%. They not going to come over here and disrespect us. They're not getting the pass. All I'm saying is I do think we need to find a better way to handle our differences. I am going to say that.
The full freaking country. The population of African in the United States is more than your Black American population. Just so you know. That's the reason why 64% of the Democratic vote is immigrant. And out of that 64, 54 is Black. So Black America, you don't want to go to war with us. At this point, I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican, because the stupid Black Republicans that are being controlled by the white tea brought this up. And it seems to be that some of you on the Democratic Party side are also getting along. So you want to pick that fight? We can do so. Yeah, we can ask our 54% vote to boycott the coming elections. Oh yes, I can guarantee you.
I don't know where she getting her stats from. But this is what I'm talking about, though. This is the ignorance that pops up when this stuff happens, right? Like it's Black Americans have talked about this for so long. All the internet is doing is exposing what we've been saying for a long time. And I think, no, I know one of the steps that has to be taken to move forward is a lot of Africans have to be honest about how they not only view Black Americans, but talk about Black Americans and treat Black Americans. You can't wag your finger and look down on a group of people and then come over here and try to benefit from our gains. I saw a video earlier of a first generation Jamaican girl who was basically trying to say that we Black Americans don't need reparations. Don't you speak for us. Don't you speak for us. But this is ignorant that we are even here because of people like her and the lady before who buy into, and the gentleman before who buy into the white supremacist rhetoric. These white folk want us talking to each other like this. And these ignorant ass fools jump into it and just carry the torch.
When we boycott it, you will have no seat. Don't play with us. We are calm. We don't intend to insult nobody. We don't look down on anybody. You went through pain. We went through pain. Yes, you went through slavery. We went through slavery in our own house. But we decided in Africa that we're going to put the past behind. We're going to fight for a better Africa. You want to tell us you're the only people that ever went through slavery? No, the Caribbean, Haiti is still going through slavery. Jamaica went through slavery. Trinidad went through slavery. I can name you multiple other African nations that went through slavery. But we don't come out here dragging to ourselves, oh, we suffer history, somebody got to pity party us. No. We work our ass up because we don't want the white teammate to tell us what to do. That's why we work. That's why we don't want to live on the system.
You literally left your country because of the hands of the white man to come over here. And that's what I don't like. They keep saying stuff like this and they keep trying to talk down on us, but you're doing that here. Go home and do that, because you got to remember, we did all of the work that you're getting the benefit off of. We did that here. We didn't, like people keep saying, we didn't flee. We didn't run. We did that here. And because we did that, you are here. You're not in your country. You're literally not in your country working your ass off, being the success that you say you are. You're here doing this in this land of opportunity that is not your homeland. Our homeland is your land of opportunity. You got to think about, they're not thinking about that stuff. Come on, man. We got to stop. This has to stop.
So if you're jealous and you angry about that, go do the job that we do. Go to school. That's all you need to do. I saw your video where you're calling for them to boycott African restaurant and boycott African salon. Listen, plus you, minus you, African businesses still gonna go. Like I told you. Like I told you in my previous video. Plus you, Black America, minus you, Black America, African businesses are still going to go. You're not the only people in America. In fact, we got more white people eating African food and doing braiding more than you African. Even African among ourselves, we do more braiding, just so you know. So braiding is not just thing, it's African thing. So that tells you that we African braid. And we got over 4 million of us here. More than 4 million of us here. So that tells you, plus you money.
But I'm not understanding, like, the African braiding shops are getting supported by black American women don't have to support the African braiding shops. Black American people don't have to support the African businesses. But even out of all of that, strife is coming up because like Hadass is saying, which is a real comment. We can't go to their countries and behave the way they're behaving here. But the behavior is that to them, the behavior is acceptable. I'm not getting that. It shouldn't be acceptable behavior. You can't come in my house and spit on me and just think it's all good and get mad that I got a problem with you spitting on me and get mad because I'm defending myself. Is the West fighting the UN? Are you referring to these diaspora wars specifically, or are you referring to like the West and the UN actually? Let me see what you're saying. Many villages of culture defining and powerful based on Afrocentric Pan-African. Now let's go about the code language. Continue this. All right. Saying yes, you need more panel instead of TikTok ranch. You need to come together to work it out. YouTube panel. All right. No one immigrant class of people have come to America and did not make a way off black. Just saying. But let's get back into it though. Let's let
our business will still go on. But if we boycott you in shit. Yeah, you would be in shit. Because guess what? When we boycott you from going to our restaurant, you got to learn to cook, or you got to go eat Madonna shit that they got to give you. If we boycott you coming to our saloons, we will still make money because Africans will support each other. But you don't support each other. That's the first thing. When we ask all the caregivers, all the doctors, all the nurses, if we decide to text each other across the United States and choose that we want to make a phone call and say we calling out, boy, sister, you got no idea what's going to happen. So, you Black American, you picking a fight.
I agree with you on this, Dark Kent. I do agree with you on this. You
can win. Because I can tell you in this fight, oh yeah, the Puerto Rican going to join us. Oh, in this fight, the Mexican.
And I think so. That's when I first saw this video. That's one of the things that I thought that was interesting about this lady's video. The flagrant language that she was using, but also the tactics that she was using because this was originally a beef between Black American women and African women. And now she's trying to make it a Black American thing versus an immigrant thing. She's trying to bring in all the other immigrants and other people that ain't got nothing to do with this to try to have their back in this. And it's like other people like, whoa, lady, whoa, we ain't got nothing to do with this. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Ain't going to join us. So you on your own. You are on your own. And in fact, most of the people that do braiding are Mexican and Puerto Rican, not Black American. Like I said,
well, and it's also like the idea of like hair wasn't like Black Americans, like we don't know how to braid hair. Like you do realize we created, like Black women created the hair care industry. You do realize that. And you do realize that Black people were eating food. Like we have our own native foods that we eat, our own cultural foods that we create and we eat that you guys even like. Because the idea, through her ignorance, she's not even thinking like the first gentleman. Through the ignorance, they're not even thinking because, of course, going back to the idea, we don't have no culture. And because we don't have no culture, only thing only thing we eat and the only thing we know is white culture, because like, there's no such thing as white American food and black American food. I mean, but the ignorance though, and it's not helping. The diaspora wars are dumb as hell, and dumbass people like this lady are not helping.
On your own. That is the reason why you're black American. You don't get along with Puerto Rican. You don't get along with Mexican. You don't get along with Chinese. You don't get along with Indian. And you also don't get along with the whitey, because you have an attitude problem. You think everybody owe you something. Nobody owe you shit. You went through your own slavery here. We went through our own slavery, and we are still going through the slavery even up to today. Because when we have a leader who tried to stand up for us, he got analyzed by your leaders, your superpower leaders.
Yeah, some Africans did sell their own. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying now. Yeah.
Yes. And in return, they say, oh, come to America. Oh, come here, we'll give you refugee status. If they were allowing our leaders to do for us, we would not be coming over here. So black America, like I said again, you are on the right path. Because you see, I can get along with the Puerto Rican. Oh yes, I can get along with the Mexican. But you already have a fight with the Puerto Rican. You already have a fight with the Mexican. Now you want to add us to this? We are your last bus stop. We are your last bus stop. And this message is for those of you black American that are attacking African. And this message is not referring to you. If you are a black American who is not involved into this fight, this is not for you.
Well, you can't insult all black Americans and then come back and say that. It's too late. You've already kicked up the dust. You didn't specifically say in yours talking that this is for certain ones. You talked about black Americans as a whole, and now you want to come back and try to clean it up, and it's too late now, because you've already kicked up the dust, because you've already told us that we're just a group of people who have nothing. And so, get back to this comment, right? But let's get to this. Hey man, do what you do. Y'all, I hope what you're doing is working for you. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's okay for us to recognize that we are black people in America. Because that's literally where we are and where we're from. We're black people in America. You don't have to call yourself a black American. Don't do it. Nobody's arguing with you about it. What you're not going to do is convince me otherwise. I understand legal purposes and all that stuff, what we need to do and what we need to call ourselves and all that stuff there. It's all good. It's all good. American food is, right, but black American food is distinct. And it does, well, black American food does have African influences, but African American food is distinct. As a former Uber driver, I've met a great deal of Africans and that were like us. It's a lot of black folk out there unhealed.
This is not for you at all. This message is precisely for those FBA on TikTok calling for them to boycott African Salon. Listen, we can boycott you whatever way we want. We can choose the day. One thing we know, you don't communicate. And one thing you don't know, we African, we communicate, regardless of where we come from. The entire 54 countries in the United States, all the citizens communicate. When Gambia is celebrating,
Maboma, send it to my email, ontheshoulders1@gmail.com. Maboma, send it to my email, ontheshoulders1@gmail.com. Send it to my email.
Like independence, Liberian, Nigerian, everybody will go there, we interact. So it is easy for us to get a message across. You don't want us boycotting, because if we boycott you, we will not let you into our grocery store. Oh yeah, we will not serve you gasoline from an African gas station. We will tell the Indian, listen, you don't want to pick a fight with legal immigrants. Okay? Because when you're picking a fight with legal immigrants, just know the Chinese will be on our side. The Indian will be on our side. You're not going to have anything. Even if the Chinese decide to stay neutral and the Indian choose to stay neutral, only we African, only us, can deal with you to the fullest. We're not going to do no people.
So that's the end of this one. So I want to pull up this video before I get to Robin Walker, because I thought this was significant.
Americans are right to be mad. Black Americans are right to be mad. They are. You see, us immigrants, this country long enough, you should know that. The reason why we're here, the reason why we are allowed to be here is because of the work Black Americans did. Because of the sacrifices they did. Because all the fights they had to fight in order for us, for them, because they didn't do it for us, they did it for themselves, and it's right. But today we are enjoying the fruit of their labor. And we should not forget that. I'm an immigrant. And yes, in my community or in an immigrant community. And
I don't. I should have let you do my hair, Crystal. I should have let you do my hair so I can still have my hair.
Nobody can say otherwise. It's a lot of disrespect for African American. Being in this country for the amount of time I have been here, if I act like I don't know that, it means that I'm willingly demeaning them. They are mad. And you know what immigrants should do right now? We should not be arguing with them. We should be quiet and listen. Many immigrant community call them.
What have I been saying since the beginning of this broadcast? They're not listening. People are not willing to listen, because everybody has the answer for us, but you don't have the answer for your own homeland. How does that work?
I'm lazy. They're not lazy. They even say they.
No, but this is why I'm doing this broadcast. This is why I'm doing this broadcast, because we have to find a way to deal with our differences without it breaking out into a fight. We can't keep taking everything to social media and fighting back and forth, no context, not listening. Everything is pieced up. We have to find a better way to deal with our differences and get past the gas that the white man keep throwing on this fire. Hey, the shops did mess me up. So I haven't been to a shop since 2020, but it was too late. It was too late. It was too late. It was too late.
They don't have a culture, and that's an insult. Of course they have a culture. Of course they do. In the music, in the food, in the way they live their life, in the way they dress. They have a culture, and by the way, a culture that is a leader in many ways. Our children in Africa dress like Black children. Children in Asia dress like Black children. Children in Latin America, in Europe. So please stop saying, and it's not only limited to clothing. It's in music, it's in history, it's in literature, it's in science. You're going to come to people's house and you want to look down at them? You want to disrespect them? No doubting the experience, no undermining the experience, no forgetting the accomplishments. To Black Americans, my brothers and sisters, I apologize. Without them, we will not be here. Without them, we will not have the opportunity we have here.
I thought that was a significant video, because also it was an elder speaking wisdom. Like I can't go into your house and just put my feet on everything. and just disrespect your house, right? And that's what has led us here. It's been a lot of disrespect going on between Africans, Caribbeans, Central Americans, South Americans, and Black Americans. And at some point, somebody got to be the adult and find a better way to deal with the issues. So if Africa is, thank you for this comment. Thank you for this comment. If Africa is struggling because of the West, then why is everybody coming to the West and then fighting for white proximity? I'm gonna say it again, because you made the comment, and you made a great comment. The West is attacking Africa, and the West is one of the main reasons these African countries are in the position that they're in, but everybody's coming West and fighting for white proximity. Diaspora wars. Social engineering online can be good if authentic between people, cultures. But the social engineering that's happening right now is very destructive. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. What's happening right now is very disruptive. You don't. I mean, and remember, Neely Fuller's information is a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. Oh yeah, absolutely agree. I leave a longer comment after the live stream, trying to get my point across. But all Black people should reject their colonial identity. I mean, and that goes for continental Africans as well. Remember, that goes for continental Africans. You were saying no in reference to what, Claire? I want to make sure that's clear. It's their unique culture. It says, great question. And all right, so Africans and Caribbeans worship whites. I hate Dr. Claude Anderson coined phrase foundation of Black Americans has been poisoned. I mean, I can't lie. A lot of the FBA rhetoric is not help. A lot of the FBA rhetoric is divisive. And I don't agree with a lot of the FBA rhetoric because for that particular reason, we're not here to fight each other. We're not here to fight each other. The West benefits from immigrant labor. So you don't think the West is attacking FBA? Because they are. All right, so let's get into Robin Walker. All right, let's get into it. So Robin Walker is giving his take on what's going on with the diaspora wars and the FBAs.
I am a member of an African Union committee.
Okay.
There's a committee called CIDO, C-I-D-O, which means Citizens and Diaspora Organization.
Okay.
I'm a part of that.
Okay.
So in that capacity, I have been to some African countries and that kind of thing, but not because of him.
To have you here with.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying all FBA rhetoric is divisive. I'm not saying that. I specifically said some FBA is divisive. Some FBA is divisive. Not all of it. Some of it is. I want to make that clear. Some of it is, and I'm going to stand on that.
For me now, it's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me. And is this something that you're used to, like, getting? People just can't believe that you're a real person and they're stood next to you or something?
I just look at it as I'm just an ordinary, regular, degular, schmegular dude who has just focused his efforts and energies in one direction to produce historical material. There are certain things where, if you like, the stars aligned at a particular point that made me who I am. And I can see why it wouldn't be just as simple for somebody else to do what I do. But I really am nothing special. I like the work that I've done. I respect the work that I've done, but I'm just fortunate that certain things happened at certain times that made that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, when we ruled, that's, to me, I'm assuming that's your biggest, like, book, if I'm not wrong. Why do you
died a long time ago? So it's almost like the baton had been passed. Comes when we ruled.
Amazing. And also, I saw you in, I think, I can't remember what
called CEDO. And what the FBA
foundational black,
but not because of hidden colors. The hidden colors thing, I mean, big up to Tariq Nasheed Elite and so on, but it didn't do a damn thing for my career. It really didn't.
You know what? Talking about Tariq Nasheed, what's your views on Tariq Nasheed? Because he's got this thing called Foundational Black American.
Yeah.
What is that about? Because I feel like that's pure division, if I'm not gonna.
It is. But I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. This is what it is. There were too many black people from outside Africa, from outside America, going to America and playing the ass. And what it is African Americans spotted this and spotted that there's a consistent pattern. Black Caribbeans, black people from Africa going to America and being the ass.
I get what you're saying. I can't disagree. I get what you're saying, but it is any future progress not gonna happen. Yeah, because black people have never really been together. So I get what you're saying. I get it.
And what the FBA agenda is putting up a wall and saying, no, you guys can't be a part of this if you're going to be on that, raccoon train.
And see, what Robin Walker is getting at is the behavior of a lot of non-FBA, non-ADOS, non-Black American people who come to America. They're black people, but they come to America from other places. And like he said, he used the term playing the ass. Their behavior is unbecoming. Their behavior is unproductive. Their behavior is divisive. So that leads us to where we are here today, and Black Americans saying we're not going to go for the disrespect anymore from you. But that does not mean, in my opinion, that should not break out into all-out diaspora war, Black Americans against everybody else. That's unproductive. But those who have been disrespectful, you got to get called out, and your behavior has to change.
When you say playing the ass, what? Because from what I know, a lot of Africans, a lot of Caribbeans who go there, academically, they're surpassing them. And also business-wise, they're surpassing them. So who was playing the ass?
When they then use that to say, well, that means that you African Americans are lazy. Do you see? Yes. And then being on some right-wing conservatism, let's throw African Americans under the bus.
That is true.
Let's pretend that Jim Crow didn't happen, redlining didn't happen, breaking up of African American business districts, breaking up of African American families. The COINTELPRO didn't happen. The Iran Contras and then moving drugs into the black community didn't happen. Yeah. And there's a whole list of things continuing right up until now that the American government has done to African Americans. And so for those black people recently arrived from outside America, you all didn't face any of that. So of course you're going to be doing better than African Americans. Duh.
Yeah.
But what's happening is a lot of the people outside Black America don't respect that.
Well, see, and that's a great point that Robin Walker is making. All of the strife that Black American people have faced from white America, from slavery to sharecropping to Jim Crow to all of the racism, redlining, welfare programs, all of the systematic things that were put in place to keep the Negro in its place. You know, like Neela Fuller says, white supremacy affects all 9 areas of human activity: education, economics, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, war. Right? All those areas were affected by white supremacists, but somehow we mustered up the gall to create and have the little that we do have. But the little that we do have is enough to positively affect the rest of the world and influence the rest of the world. Let's not act like, because they say Black Americans have no culture, but Afro beats exist. Afro beats don't exist if Fela Kuti don't get influenced by Black American artists. I was looking at something the other day and they were talking about Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah came to America and was educated at these HBCUs and took that education and those cultural influences back to his country and got independence. It's when I hear people say we have no culture, it's showing their ignorance. They don't read. They clearly don't read. They clearly don't read, but also they come to America and they look down on us. Once again, it is them having the behavior patterns of white supremacists. Yeah, I said it. Having the behavior patterns and the thoughts and the ideologies of white supremacists. Let's let Robin cook though, because they are playing the ass. You got a lot of them playing the ass.
And so while I'm not about division, I can't pretend to not know why Tariq Nasheed said that.
Yeah.
I can't pretend not to know why some other people are running with ADOS.
What's that one?
ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves.
You're saying no, he didn't. That's a lie. You're saying no, he didn't. To what?
Okay.
They're on the same agenda as FBA, trust me.
But they're separate.
Well, one is run by Tariq, one is run by somebody else. I think there's somebody else is Yvette Carnell, something like that.
Then you got the Black Hebrew Israelites, then you got the ones who say they're Native Americans and they were there before. Sometimes I just feel it's like there's too many categories and too many groups to like really know what is really going on.
There is, and my job is very, very much to bring clarity. I am the Black History Man. My job is to bring clarity. And I do believe there is a position that all of us can agree upon.
Yeah.
And that's the vision of history that I've been working on since I've been writing. And it could put the FBAs, the ADOS, Black people from outside America, Black people in Africa. I've just spent 2.5 weeks in Ethiopia. Put all of us on the same side with pretty much the same vision of history, with pretty much the same pride in our history. And it can be done. It's not a hard thing to do. But I do understand and respect the differences, because I can see why a person from one country doesn't see it the same way as a person from another country.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, like what he's explaining, because cultural differences are recognized everywhere except for Black America. Because apparently our culture doesn't exist, and our culture has to be attached to something else, because we can't be a group of people who could develop culture within ourselves and of ourselves and for ourselves, which is ignorant. And that's what he's getting at. Like, all groups of people create culture for themselves. That doesn't mean your culture can be influenced by others, by other things. You can have things injected into your culture, but Black America has a culture, just like there's a Garifuna culture, just like there's a Haitian culture, a Jamaican culture, Cuban culture, Dominican culture. Like, all groups of people throughout the African diaspora have culture. It's silly the idea that we're just the only ones who are absent of culture. that's silly because people create culture.
Yeah, I agree. I want to touch on the whole Caribbeans and Africans academically and business-wise doing better.
Now listen to this.
First, you mentioned something. No, sorry, I mentioned something that just sparked a thought.
Hold on, before you get to this, nobody's saying that the culture that you are a part of is not doesn't have some kind of influences from somewhere. But to say that because it has influences from others, then therefore those people have no culture. Because go tell the Mexicans they have no culture because they have Spanish influence. Go tell the Mexicans they have no culture. They have Spanish influence, right? Go tell the Haitians they have no culture. There's French influence. Go tell Jamaicans they have no culture. It's British influence. I'm just saying.
African people in the Americas before the European invasion?
That's a complicated story, but generally speaking, I think the evidence is quite strong that the answer is yes.
Okay.
Does it mean that the bulk of African Americans were there before Europeans? Of course not.
Okay.
Does it mean that Black Americans today are descended from this bulk population that was there before Europe? No. Yeah. But was there nobody there? Here's the issue, you see. There was a very famous artifact that was found. I mean, I say artifact, fossil that was found. It was found in Brazil, and the scholars gave her the name Luzia, Luzia. She's thought to be the first human being, modern human type of human, discovered in South America. You'd expect her to have been a Native American, right? She turned out to be Black.
Okay.
And there's been all kinds of, well, how do we explain this? Well, how do we explain this? Well, how do we explain this?
No, you can't create culture, but you are descendants of Africans because your ancestors were in the same for white. Technically, everybody's descendants from Africa. Technically, if we want to be technical, everybody's descendants of Africans, technically.
Well, there's no way you can get around the fact that certainly the first modern human South American that we can point to is this fossil Luzia. Now, but this is South America. What does this tell us about North America? No one really wants to go there. So I'm going to leave North America blank.
Okay.
Because we need more evidence to be able to answer that question. But the Luzia find is should we say inconvenient? But you can't pretend it's not there.
Inconvenient for who?
It changes the dynamics.
Okay.
Because now what does it mean if you call somebody a Native American? Who exactly are you speaking about?
And see, what Robert Walker is getting at is basically skeletal remains of an African person have been found in the Americas because the idea was, the whole idea is all Black people in the U.S. and specifically North America, the U.S. are of slave descent. And there have been taught that no, there have been Native African or Native Black people here before anybody else showed up, or even in the times of other people. So before pre-Columbus, before the Columbus era, there were African people in the Americas. Once again, nobody denying the connection to Africa, but we've been here so long, we're Black Americans. Because you're not going to tell the Aboriginals of Australia that they're not Aboriginals. You're not going to tell them that. Like the arguments that you have for us, they don't have them for other people whose story is similar to ours, if not the same.
It confuses the game in a very, very big way.
The cast was then given to Richard Neve of the University of Manchester in England, one of the world's leading forensic artists, to recreate her features.
That to me is a Negroid face that has all the features that you associate with a Negroid face. The proportions of the face, it doesn't say anything about it being a Mongoloid.
Was this then the face of a first American? Her reconstruction is confirmed by measurements Walter Nevis has taken of all his skulls.
The first reaction was not to believe in it. But as the results, repeated so many times, and the result is exactly the same thing. They are very similar to now.
Even our own historians have documented that Africans have been a part of the slave trade. We didn't start it. Africans didn't start it, but Africans did participate in it. Even one, look up Tipple Tip. Tipple Tip is one of the main African slave traders that they talk about. Tipple Tip.
Nowadays, Aborigines and Africans, and no similarity at all with Mongoloids in Asia or with American Indians.
Now, I want to touch on the Caribbeans and the Africans who go to America and excel academically and excel business-wise. We know the reason why, because you just explained it in terms of some of the deprivations and intentional, stifling of the Black American family, Black American business, and you name it. But not all of them can be affected by this. There's always got to be certain people who rise above it, regardless of what the situation is. It's just the natural nature thing. Weeds grow through gardens, you name it. Why do you think it is that a country like Jamaica or Africa, where they too have had their deprivations, had their colonialism, had their slavery, why do they go somewhere and tend to excel amongst people who also have gone through it?
Because you're not comparing like with like, that's why.
Okay.
A lot of us think we are comparing like with like. You're not. Let me explain. Generally speaking, Caribbeans in America, not the ones in the Caribbean, but the ones in America, will represent the top 10%.
I see.
So if you're really going to compare like with like, you have to compare the top 10% of Caribbeans with the top 10% of African Americans.
Okay.
And when you compare the two, the African Americans are slaughtering us, bro. It's not even close. It's a massacre. But what it is we compare the top 10% with your average African American.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right.
You're not comparing like with like. And if you compare your average African American, you're 51, you've got 1 to 100 and Mr. number 51. Number 51 is richer by a factor of 20 than your average Jamaican. Do you see? So what happens is it's a perception thing. Now, let's be clear. We can all point to people from outside America. Go to America and rise. Yeah. Colin Powell did that. Kamala Davy Harris has done that, whatever. But you can't pretend that's typical. Do you see?
Yeah.
But what happens is because we live in a world where people don't really have full pictures, you can take the exception, use that to smack around African Americans' faces. This guy just got off the boat. He's doing better than you. Not realizing, but for my man to have got on the boat in the first place, he wasn't typical of the country that he was coming from. He was in the top echelons of that country. Do you see?
Yeah.
And the same is true also with people from Africa going to Black America. So if we're going to compare the top 10%, let's compare the top 10%. And when we do that, African Americans are slaughtering us. There are, you see, I was fortunate in visiting Black America. My book, When We Ruled, there's an American edition.
Okay.
And I invited myself to my publisher's house in America, William Paul Coates. You might know his son, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
No.
Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's a commentator. If you Google him, he's a big figure.
Okay.
So what happened was me and a friend, we invited ourselves to my man's house. And so I got to see how that segment of African Americans were living. They were living large, bro.
Yeah, because I know they've got some serious high society, and they've got their own versions of, you know, country clubs and gentlemen's clubs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other difference, of course, as well, that we have to acknowledge is, unlike Europe, America's a very right-wing country. So Europe, there's a sense of, we can't just let people starve. In America, they don't have that. In Europe, there's a sense of, someone had an accident, let's take them to the hospital. In America, first question, are they insured? So America doesn't have any social safety net. And so consequently, if you're a poor African American, you fend for yourself.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good point.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point. Now,
well, it's context. A lot of the rhetoric that is going back and forth is people being fueled by emotions and a lack of thought, a lack of contemplating, a lack of critical thinking, a lack of research, a lack of backing up their thoughts and feelings with actual information. Realistic information. I'm even looking at some of the comments, right? We all have been at points in our lives where we were miseducated and misguided, and we were in the parroting stage. So we would repeat a lot of what we heard because the way it was told to us, it sounded so right. It sounded so true. And it's buried in lies and deceit and misconceptions. And then the narratives are carried on and 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 on. And it just blows up to what it is now. And the idea, like, I'm glad Robin Walker said what he said, because the idea is, you know, Black Americans are lazy. Everybody comes from another country and outdo Black Americans. And I've always been like, nah, I don't believe that. You can't tell me, like, as a whole, like, these people are coming and doing better than Black Americans as a whole. Like, nah, we doing some amazing things over here. Now, this point, I appreciate the comment, but it's a moot point to what Robin was saying, to the point Robin was making, because he wasn't necessarily saying that, yeah, Black Americans are boule sellouts. But what he's saying is the 10% of Black Americans are still doing better than 10% of the Nigerians or the Ghanaians or any other Africans or Caribbeans that come over. They're still doing better. And does their proximity to whiteness help? Yes. But aren't the other groups coming here fighting for that same proximity to whiteness? Because I started off the show by saying, I believe that's one of the factors that go into these diaspora wars. Other groups of people coming here and understanding that white people have the power and resources and they want to be next to the white people. Remember the video of the young lady saying that, yes, they want white proximity. They want white proximity. Like, don't sleep on Black Americans. Do not sleep on us, right? Black Americans are very productive. Now, is the production helping Black America in the long run? No, but Black Americans are very productive. But we all know, you put a Black American in the space, give them the resources, no restrictions, and we will do amazing things. But I think that's the same true for all African people. I'm not here to throw fuel on the fire of the diaspora wars, but I am here to call out the bull. I am here to wag my finger back at Black Americans, Black Africans, Black Caribbeans, Black Central Americans, Black South Americans who are throwing the fuel on the fire of the diaspora wars. We should be coming together and working together rather than fighting against each other. But the ignorance has to stop. I need for my Africans, my Caribbeans, my Central and South Americans to start, damn it, reading. Start reading. Please, you're going to have to start reading because the ignorance is not helping.
I want to ask you something. Your assistant, I don't know if it's your assistant or your manager, George. Me and him having a conversation when I was asking him if I can get you on the show. That's probably George right now, actually. Guys, I tell you what, I'll be right back. Give me one moment. We've been joined by Mr. George.
That's right. Right, but if you're gonna need our help, you're gonna have to behave better. You can't come and say, I need your help, and then spit on us at the same time. We need better behavior from people who are going to say that they need our help.
What's your full name, sir?
You can call me Nana.
Nana? Okay, we've been joined by Nana.
Well. But yeah, it's the
comment of the day. Comment of the day. We all lack civilized culture, civilization. Goddamn right, Nemesis. Goddamn right. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother.
The YouTube space audience might know me as Brother George.
Brother George.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a director of The Black Secret, and I've been invited to be a part of this life-changing and very important mission and journey, which is The Black Secret. Okay. So I'm a director, the creative director of The Black Secret in that capacity, and I'm here to join the conversation. I wear many other hats, but that's for another time. I'm a lecturer in my own right. I'm an artist and author as well. And I lecture on self-help matters and on spirituality as well.
Okay.
But here we're dealing with Black history.
Black history. We can flow into all that stuff. The fact that you're here, we can flow into all that stuff.
Well, they lose their culture because of influences and integration and amalgamation and proximity to whiteness. Everybody understands that, right? If you're gonna be in a place and you're not insulated by your home culture, you're gonna assimilate, and they do assimilate.
So just before you came, Mr. George, Mr. Walker, I was going to ask you about your time in Ethiopia. How was your time in Ethiopia?
It was my second trip. So what happened was I spent about 2.5 weeks just leading up to Christmas Eve. A lot of the time was spent in Addis Ababa. One of the missions we had was to get to a university called Mizan Tepe, which is in southwest Ethiopia. So it was a really, really good trip. We got a lot of business objectives done. And it's just otherwise just a wonderful country.
Okay. Okay. Now, how do you feel about the concept that Ethiopia was the only country in Africa not to be colonized by Europeans? Yeah. See, I know people that told me they were colonized by the Arabs.
Well, so that's pretty much the end of the point, the piece that I wanted to get to in this Robin Walker thing. There are a lot of issues happening between Black people. It's because we're not culturally united. Yeah, Black people are not culturally united across the globe. And so don't get it twisted. Throughout this whole broadcast, there were agreements and disagreements, but agreements and disagreements shouldn't lead us to not liking each other, hating each other, and fighting with each other. That means we just need to continue to talk to get to a common ground and continue to share information to get to a common ground. Says you can't practice xenophobia in someone else's homeland, then cry about xenophobia. The accusations are a problem too. Yes, 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 yes. And corruption is in every country, right? The black diaspora has been corrupted. The African diaspora has been corrupted. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Going back to my man Nemesis's comment, we all lack culture. Otherwise, this shit would not be taking place, and certainly not in public. God damn it. We all deserve 10,000 lashes for the bull. Got to get it together, man. Got to get it together. Seems like FBS should be tired of the disrespect's been going on, but my family is the reason why we can migrate here. But yet, they all do is talk. But that's the thing. The reason why FBA are delineating is because FBA are saying we're tired of it. But at the same time, remember what I said at the beginning. The irony of the diaspora wars is why the diaspora wars are going on. All of the groups who are fighting against other groups of black people have infighting going on within them because black people still fighting with each other. Africans are still fighting with each other. Matter of fact, there are continental Africans. There are the Ghanaians, Nigerians, and South Africans going at it real bad right now. Like other cultures and nations of Africans are going at it right now on the continent right now, while Black Americans are having infighting going with each other right now. That's the irony of it. There's infighting within infighting within infighting within infighting within infighting. Damn. When are we going to get tired of fighting with each other? When are we going to get tired of this mess? When are we going to get tired of every time we look up, it's an issue with another black person? We find a new reason to fight and to do crazy things. Right. Funded by the yes. So, I mean, look, it's okay to be a Black American, just like it's okay to be a Jamaican, just like it's okay to be a Haitian, a Cuban, a Dominican, a Garifuna, whatever. It's okay. Don't let anybody try to convince us that it's not okay to be a Black American. That does not take away our Africanness. That does not take away our connection to Africa. That does not take away Pan-Africanism. That does not take away the vision of total global Black unity. You have to fix yourselves and your group of people. You have to fix what you have at home. Strengthen yourselves at home so you can be a better ally for the diaspora. You have to. But what can't happen is the continued disrespect. It has to stop. And how we deal with the disrespect has to change. The big fight in public has to stop. And if the big fight in public don't stop, we're going to have a problem. We'll have a problem. So I'm getting ready to bring this to an end. The problem is that these aren't victimless crimes. The behavior has a direct consequence on our survival. We don't have time to explain, be gaslit. It's just not Africans. And right. Get to a point. You fucked up. Say you fucked up, and let's atone for you fucking up. No one is culturally united, not even Europeans. But we're not Europeans. We ain't worried about what I get what you're saying, but we're not worried about what the Europeans got going on. We worry about what we got going on because our divisiveness is hurting us. It can't be ignored that a huge amount of infighting comes directly from negative. Yes, yep. And I said it earlier. Remember, all the negative images that Black Americans got of Africans growing up and all the negative images that Africans got of Black Americans growing up. We can see it. It's how we treat each other. Right. You can't disrespect has to stop. African love and African unity has to be on the table, diaspora wise. Read. Remember the book we've read, Destruction of Black Civilization, on this channel. We've read it. It's the content is here. Go to my book readings playlist and get down on them videos. We all drank the Kool-Aid growing up in the 90s in Brooklyn. We had none of this. I could remember rocking my African chain, remember hanging with. Yeah, things have changed now. Things have changed, man. Back in the days, like Black people and African people were getting along. You right. I think the confusion comes when people tries to group all brown. That could be a point. Trying to group us all together. But the thing is, I think African people still have to get to a point where we understand that in order for us to combat this mutual enemy, we're going to have some common unity. We're going to have to learn how to come together, at least to fight the white man. Like, if we can't come together to at least fight the white man, it's over. Let's stop talking about Pan-Africanism. Let's stop talking about unity. We have to find some kind of way to have some kind of unity, at least against white supremacy, right? Presently, the Africans and diasporans seek help from ADOS because they're in trouble of deportation, job loss, no college. They're not sincere in attack. That's an unfortunate truth for some of them. You're right, Sister B. I'm FBA, and they say we don't have a culture while looking. That's one of my biggest things. That's one of my, I saw a video of a lady saying that while using Black American verbiage. Stop it. You cannot have the roots. You cannot hate the roots without hating the tree. You cannot hate Africa without hating yourself, right? Right. Vacant esteem. Dr. Joy DeGroot talked about the vacant esteem that we have, the vacant esteem that we learn. They need to get a black, they need to get a block popping instead of running to. I'm just saying. I'm a reformed Pan-Africanist. Hey, so, and I get why a lot of people are not Pan-Africanists anymore, because as one person put it in the video I saw, we can't be doing all the work. We can't be doing all the heavy lifting. I'm not saying we're doing everything, but we can't be doing most of the heavy lifting talking about Pan-Africanism, right? The Europeans are the most tribalistic group on the planet, so that doesn't change the fact that they have a militaristic and great point. Great point, Trigger Happy. Great point. I don't give a damn about none of that. We're going to either come together or we're going to lose together. We delineating period. We don't dishes. Straight up chocolate diamonds. It's happening. Whether, and I say like I said in the beginning, I don't want the delineation to happen, but it's happening. It's going to happen whether I want it to or not. And I understand why it's happening, and it's necessary to happen. The same end goal other groups of people have. Same end goal any other group of people have. I don't know what's that in reference to, but said, Joseph, are you okay with being called a diaspora African? Dr. Erica Bennett said that the AU 6th region inclusive with. I personally, Joseph Ward, I don't have a problem being called an African, a diaspora African, foundational Black American. I don't have a problem with that because I understand that I'm a Black person from America and my roots are in Africa. I understand that. So I personally don't have a problem with being called that. You cannot hate the roots of the tree. Right. Irish and but they know how to come together when need to. White folk know how to come together to get on our asses. I'm just saying. France threatened to turn our electric off. Stupid parliament sold assets off, and it's all interconnected in Europe and beyond. So Europeans generally get on, but not the leaders or the overlords. Okay, there's a lot of conversation going on. We cannot allow child trauma name. Right. We do need camaraderie together. We do. On a diasporic level, we need camaraderie on a diasporic level. I don't care what nobody say. Remember how they wanted a unity of Black peoples back then, like Rainbow Coalition of the Black Panthers. Black people need to unite too, and also Africans need to unite, tribe. Yep. We need each other. Black folk diasporic over the whole diaspora. We need each other. A lot of Black immigrants don't understand how hard the U.S. government cracked down on the Black Panthers. That's why I keep saying, read. Don't comment on my country, my history, my culture without studying it. I don't know nothing. I can't comment on Rhodesia. I can't comment on a lot of things about Ghana, Nigeria, and these other countries, Cote d'Ivoire, because I haven't read up on it. I can only talk about what I know. What you mean imitate hip-hop culture? What do you mean imitate? Black Americans imitate hip-hop culture. What do you mean imitate? We created hip-hop culture. It's Black Americans created all American music. All forms of American music were created by Black people, especially all the major forms, all the popular forms are created by Black American people. Hip-hop is a part of Black American culture. We're not imitating anything. Oh, UK overlords are Qatar, Saudi Arabia, China, India, and many billionaires colonized. Right. Unity is not the answer. No one on this planet is unified, but that's still uniting to work together. That's still unity. I mean, that's semantics at this point. Trying to get to the rest of these before I close out. None of our enemies give a damn about. Right. Damn it, we gonna come together. What? Only people who suffer are working class people. I'm African. Please delineate quicker. The ignorance, victimhood is becoming tiring. Whatever, man. Whatever. We're not gonna sit. We're not here to argue. We're not here to argue. But what we are here to do is call out the disrespect, right? Because in your homeland, I'm sure the white people are telling you all that you all are victims and ignorant and crying all the time too. So I'm just saying. But what we are saying is the disrespect has to stop. It's not only that they are jealous. It's not that they're jealous. They are disappointed. There can't be no unity when the heart are mixed. They took out so many Pan-Africans in the 60s, right? They did. And it didn't continue on. We're not African, we're Indigenous American here for 5 years. I ain't disagreeing. Ignorance on both sides made for nothing but right. I don't know what that's in reference to. But let me shoot, it's a lot more comments, man. Comment was reference to post blaming our impressions on Africans. So, man, look, I appreciate, I got to get up out of here, man. I'm hungry. I got to finish my day. I got to get up out of here. I appreciate you all, but you know, the disrespect has to stop. Black people across the globe, we are intelligent enough to come together for a common cause to free ourselves from white supremacy, I believe. But the actions we keep showing are counter to my belief. So please, let's do something different. Let's find a different way to handle our grievances. The disrespect has to stop. The disrespect has to stop. It has to stop. But we have to find a better way to deal with our grievances. Come together. I mean, let me put the comment up. Let me put my man's comment up. As he said it better than I don't even need to say it because he already said it. Where's Nemesis? None of our enemies give a damn about what specific type of brown we are. Unite or perish. OnTheShoulders1.com is the website. Check it out. My educational services are available on there. I do in-person classes, virtual classes, all those things. Information about my Black History School is on there. Make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate everybody coming in. You know, I got to give my shout outs. I appreciate everybody coming in here. Please hit that like button. Jedi Sage, I appreciate you. Muck, I appreciate you. Claire 91, I appreciate you. Brain Power Everlasting, Shabazz, American Freedman, you already know what it is. Jason Reels Network, you already know what it is. N1, I appreciate you. Quentin, I appreciate you. Tip, I appreciate you. Boundless, you're a real one. Carter J. Hall, you're a real one. Dr. Zach, you're a real one. Chocolate Diamonds, you're a real one. Synovia, you are a real one. Landmark 22, you're a real one. Jason Reels Network, you already know you're a real one. Susan Valencia Jones, you are a real one. Jedi Sage, you are a real one. If I didn't say Brain Power Everlasting, you're a real one. Shabazz, Nemesis X, you're a real one. Sister B, you're a real one. Tip, you are a real one. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I can't read that, but I appreciate you for tuning in. You're a real one. Mickey, you are a real one. Synovia, you a real one. Trigger Happy, I appreciate you tuning in. You're a real one. Let me see. Maboma, I appreciate you tuning in. You're a real one. We don't have to grill and everything, but you still coming in. You're a real one. I appreciate you. Who else came in here? Sister B. Let's see who else. I want to make sure I get everybody. And I see the super chat. I'm coming right back to the super chat. I appreciate the super chat. Who else? Tiffany B. I appreciate you for tuning in. Who else? I don't want to mess up your name, but I put it on. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, man, look, I appreciate everybody. Mystic Mortar, I appreciate you tuning in. Father 9999999, I appreciate you tuning in. Shoot. We got a lot of comments. I appreciate all the comments, all the people tuning in. Philip Harris, I appreciate you. Who else? Jen Summers, I appreciate you. Appreciate you for tuning in. Shoot, who else? It went down today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the love, support, tuning in. Crystal Watson, I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you. And I'm about to wind down and go ahead and tune this thing in. You hear my stomach growling. Dark Kent, I appreciate you for tuning in. We agree. Hey, we had some agreement today, Dark Kent. We had some agreement today. Chris, I appreciate you for tuning in. Hadassah Soul, I appreciate Hadass Soul. I appreciate you for tuning in. D Stevenson 100, thank you. Who else? Jay Rising, thank you. Black American Television News and Information, thank you. Azizi, thank you. We don't do call-ins just yet. We're not a call-in show right now. Jay Williams, appreciate you. Who else? And that's it. So let's get down to this super chat. Jedi Sage to Ishin. I appreciate you, my brother. It's definitely going to the Black History School. So we meet again next Saturday, the Black History School from 11 to 1. And we're gonna go into more information on the Black history of Florida, but teach them about Black pilots as well. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, we got to disrupt the status quo. We got to disrupt the status quo. We have to disrupt the status quo. We need a new way to operate. Black power, Black power, Black power, and it don't need to be diluted no way. Black power. We need each other. We need each other. I love y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. I love you all. Make sure y'all catch the next video coming up. Make sure y'all catch all the other videos coming up on this channel. Peace out. Y'all have a great Saturday.